Okay, just got an email from one of our clients asking what happens if you marry someone with really bad credit. This is a great question, and this is kind of a two-part answer, and I think both answers are very important. For one, if you marry somebody with bad credit, it does not mean that all of a sudden their bad credit is going to commingle into your credit. It's just not. Whatever they committed to is going to stick with them. It's not going to carry on over into the new marriage. So your credit score, and all that will be just fine. Now, having said that, there's something else that does need to be considered. Actually, there's a couple things that need to be considered, but let's start with this. What if this person with the really bad credit was to get sued and had a judgment put against them? So again, this is not affecting your credit personally. However, if you guys were to commingle your accounts as a married couple with joint accounts, or maybe you guys went into a mortgage together, and some of this bad debt in the past is still within the statutes of limitations, which is the time period that these debtors can sue for that debt. Well, now you could be exposed to that, and you could be exposed to that in the way of, if they were able to get a successful judgment and get a successful writ, now they can freeze these joint accounts as long as his name is on those accounts. Or in the case of this home, they could put a lien on that home, even though your name's on it. So future joint debt or future joint accounts could be exposed to a spouse, even though the debt happened before you guys got married, if in fact it's still within the statutes of limitations to where they could sue you and then put that lien on you. Or we also want to consider, when you say really bad debt, maybe another question that needs to be asked is, hey, have you been sued on any other debts in the past? Do you have a judgment on you from any previous debts? Because here's the thing. Those judgments, and if are on a person, and they're liable for that person for 20 years. So this guy could have had, or girl, could have been sued for a debt, had a successful judgment against him, 5 years before you guys ever met. You guys get married, you buy a home together, they find out, next thing you know, they're putting a writ and putting a lien against that house, or freezing a checking account or a savings account if it's joint. So those are the questions you want to ask. Now, here's the thing, that's not going to show up on a credit report nowadays. Judgments, liens do not show on public records in credit reports. So hopefully that this new relationship is built on some trust where y'all can have a real conversation around this and decide whether you might want to order a LexisNexis report to see if there's any of these liens or judgments out there, because again, you could get exposed in that sense. Credit-wise, no. But let's talk about another factor when you guys are coming together in marriage. I think it's very important that you get on the same page when it comes to financing. Now, it's very common that couples, there's one that's really good with money and credit and one that's not. And the combination where both people stink, this is a terrible combination. But if that's established, then there needs to be, some accountability with each other and a trust, because many times a person that's had bad credit in the past, these trends and some of these behaviors could continue on into your relationship. And it's real hard to advance into into some of the benefits out there and some of the fruit of our labor when one partner is pulling us down. So just be sensitive to that. I don't want to make this all about money. However, that warm, fuzzy puppy dog love feeling goes away after a few years in marriage, and a lot of these things become very, very real. So get on the same page when it comes to your financing. So again, a little off the subject as far as specific to credit, but hey, let's face it, behavior is a big part of credit, and it should be a big part of that topic. So just be mindful of those things. So hopefully that covers the gamut. We'll see you on the next one.